So what were you doing whilst you were doing all this bat stuff?
At the time I was working for a company that specialised in animal assisted therapy. So basically we had contracts with the NHS a lot of the time, or private hospitals, and we'd go into some of the mental health wards, some of the secure units, some of the children's units, and we'd taken all sorts of animals. So it was actually one of the best jobs I think I've ever had. I really loved that job. We had so we had reptiles, we had bearded dragons, we had some like snakes, we had a lovely ball python, we had little lesser tenrics, meerkats at one spell, we had skunks, and we would take them in, and it was just magical seeing the effect these animals would have on people who were really quite poorly. Some of the staff would say that some of the doctors had been in that week, tried to get them out of bed, and they just weren't responding. But as soon as they knew we were there for our session with the animals, they were up, they were interacting. As soon as you gave them an animal, it was like they just calmed down. They were asking questions, they were engaged, and and they would look forward to our weekly visits. And it's a really, really rewarding job. And some of the brain injury units, it was more about like the sensory side of the animals, like how the reptiles would feel, like the softness of the skunks, the movement of the snake on the body, and things like that. So yeah, it was a great job. And I guess that's what kind of sparked my interest in ferrets, was basically falling in love with a skunk called Jethro.
You fell in love with a skunk called Jethro.
Yeah. So the company that I worked for had a male and female who had little skunk kits, and they were rehoming them, but I fell in love with one, and they said, well, you can name him. I said, well, I'm going to name him Jethro after one of my favourite bands, Jethro Tull.
I was going to say, was it Jethro the comedian or Jethro Tull?
It was Jethro
I was thinking about the seed drill.
What?
Yes.
The seed drill. The inventor of the seed
guy
drill.
on one leg with a flute. That's who I'm talking about.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So named him Jethro, refused to let them rehome him. He was coming with my little team of animals. So I got quite bonded with him. But my living situation didn't really, I couldn't really accommodate a skunk. They had big enclosures and whatnot. So it kind of just led me to being quite fascinated with mustelids in general. I think they've got such a cheeky character. Weasels, polecats, pine martins, they're all of a very cheeky, little inquisitive nature.
Yeah, they've got this reputation for it as well, haven't they? Yeah. We all know weasels or lawyers, I guess, given their human name.
Yes.
But they're all mischievous.
Yes.
And that sort of sinuous body tends to give a wily, persona to them. I mean, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the weasels were the nasty guys, weren't they? But
it's the bad reputation.
They were mischievous rather than nasty.
Yeah. And as for ferrets, they are 100% mischievous. They are, yeah.
I want to know what happened to Jethro.
Oh, Jethro's still going. Yeah, he's still going out visiting.
Gosh.
So was he descented?
No, it's actually, as far as I know, it was back then illegal to descent in this country. I think they do it in America.
Well, at one stage, the only way they were allowed to be imported into the country was if they were descented, although the operation was illegal in this country.
Yeah, no, he was, and that's one of the questions we used to get asked, because if people hadn't met him before, they'd be really wary, because he's, is he going to spray? Am I going to sting? But with the skunks as kits, if you bring them up in the environment where they're used to everything, so used to noises, used to other animals, used to traveling, used to people, they don't ever feel threatened, so they're not going to use the spraying of the glands, because that's their defense mechanism, isn't it? They would spray and then leg it, basically, and then whatever they spray is going to stink forever. So he would never spray because he was so used to everything. He was really calm. He'd just sleep on people's knees and give them cuddles. He was, great little guy.